Hey everybody, Nullface here with another Eternal Evolution video. This time I wanted to talk a little bit about commanders and leveling them and how I approach that. With the return of Twilight Forest here, I wanted to see if I can get any good Hagridons leveled up. I've only managed to acquire 4 of them. 2 of these were from commander selection boxes, and the other 2 were from about 100 stamina in Cinzaro, which just feels so bad. But overall, I want to take a look at the commanders I have and kind of how I'm going to go through and level them and then see if we can actually get any decent rolls out of those 4 attempts. So I try not to keep a ton of these. The most useful ones I got today, I do have more just because of the skill combinations that are on them. So, my Serena Leo, this one's if I'm using Crete instead and maybe I don't have Leo, say I lost him in a Twilight stage or something, I can bring this one in. That one could probably go actually, but here's my, Bailey Rakana, Leo Bailey, not alt, unfortunately, but I keep the ones that look good. This one could honestly probably go. I don't see that combination being useful, so we'll unlock that one. Samadhi has actually become a recent favorite now that I have both Emma and Azina in decent gear. Has been outperforming quite a bit, so I've got one with an Emma alt here. Unfortunately, no other good stats. It is my most frequently used one just for Emma alt. I'll also sometimes use the Azina alt because it does have a little attack for the back row as well, but when you're talking 60, 70k plus attack on some of these heroes like Emma, 550, if it's added at the beginning, it might help, but I honestly don't know where in the formula that attack gets added in. If it's additional to base, then it helps a little bit more, but if it's at the end, it's less than 1%, so take what you can get, but percentage rolls are definitely the way to go. Who else do we have here? Discar is not getting used as much anymore now that I have a couple of decent Enlightens. This one, Score and Hattie and Masrani, and then not quite as good Skewer and Kalaza, which I use occasionally as well, but this is my my main one here. Elias I'm working on, trying to get, Rigor and Moriami on there. They're the 2 that would really benefit from this commander, although to be fair, if I'm using them, chances are I'll be using them with one of the shield heroes for whoever's doing the tanking, so I'm not keeping many copies of this guy. I just don't think it's going to be useful. This one here is terrible, so this is my most recent. I've leveled him up. So let's take a look at how I go through the levels then. I have a few that are locked here that could have decent rolls on them. I'll probably go through and purge a few as well, but we're going to start with Hagridon here. The way I usually go about this is my locked commanders are the ones that I'm going to keep. It's similar to gear, right? And then we go through, and if I see a new commander I want to level up, I pick the highest rank unlocked one, like this one here. Perfect example. I'm never going to use this Rhoda. And then just toss them in. So this one goes straight to nobody I wanted to see on it. At this point, since I do have a few other options for leveling them up, I'm not going to toss them in, but when I get down to only one that I have leveled, I'll just keep eating that one until it gets down below level 10. You drop 2 to 5 levels every time. It kind of scales down. Like this one here, +1 all skills. We're going to take that, see what we get on this guy. Still not much. 2 more chances. Come on, give me something good. Who else is unlocked? You're unlocked. There. No, don't do me this way, game. Come on, give me a decent one. I really want this for the Vanguard stages, if possible, if I can get some decent skills on it. Here we go. So here's one. All right, Elias level 20. This guy Ada level 25. Hey, I'm gonna eat him here. He's gonna be 17. So perfect example. And nothing. All right. So of these, of these 4, I'm not super fond of any of them. This one has defense for the front. Middle back Masrani bonus. Bunch of alts health for the middle row. Let's see, who do we have that I can chew on to upgrade? little bit more. Okay, so we're going to take that one out. Let's get up to 20. Crit for the back row. That's not going to do much for most of the compositions in which I will be using this commander. So unfortunately, didn't really get anything out of these. Still will probably try it. Mainly, well, let's see. Let's take a look at what it does here. Increase damage to the next skill. Deploying 3 or more Vanguard heroes will activate these effects. When your Vanguard heroes are attacked, there's a 40% chance to regenerate 3% of their max HP. That's really what we're after here. Now, I think the second effect here is the only one that's PvP only. So it's really this health regeneration one, because there's a lot of stages in Twilight where your tanks just get really, really low, and that little bit of extra health would have saved me from anywhere up to a dozen restarts just trying to get the RNG right, where Leo moves properly, Creep moves properly, their shields burst when they need to, they do the extra damage. It's quite a thing, but a little extra healing should go a long way. So hopefully someday I'll get to roll up a decent Hagridon, but not quite yet. For now, we'll take one up to 5. So the question becomes, which? They're all just so bad. The main place I use them again is the Vanguard Bond, so I'll really be looking for health and defensive stats. It's either frontline with Lyran as a healer, who I don't use. Masrani I do use in the team. I guess we'll start with this one. These are a bunch of terrible options here. A couple of other commanders that I had unlocked. Much better. Anything decent? No, not at all. But that's RNG for you. Overall, though, that's how I approach the leveling of commanders. I try to just kind of feed the XP down through each one. If I don't get what I want from the skills, I'll just feed them into the next one and roll it on through. And over time, you accumulate a decent collection of them, like I have here. I also have it set to devour all the non-mythic commanders for XP. And when I get one that I do want to level up and I don't have any others that are pending, I'll go ahead and do that. So it just kind of keeps the quantity down, because you don't need a ton of commanders, especially in the later stages, the ones that are less useful. I do find myself running quite a bit of Enlighten for my summoner groups. I'll be trying to get some with Anpu and his skills, I'm sure. Rhoda I don't use much anymore. Maybe it's because I don't have a great one. I take that back. I do have a pretty good Rhoda, +2 ultimate with crit damage for Ravenna, and that's usually where I run her, is in the middle. So this is actually very good Rhoda, but I find myself, whenever I would be using Rhoda again, probably using one of the commanders to protect my tank instead. It's just generally how I found it. I'm sure there are cases where this would be the better one to use, though, so I do always keep a copy or two if I get good ones, but trying to keep it to a manageable level. I just don't see the need to keep a ton of these around, especially unrolled. If you know a new hero is coming out, maybe keep a couple unrolled for that particular type. Like, had I been thinking about what I just said earlier, I probably would have kept a couple copies of Enlighten not rolled. I think I only have the one here. So what the heck, let's go ahead, toss some XP into this guy, see what happens. Which is my least favorite Hagridon? Probably you. I don't like that. All right. Nope. Still nothing for the new guy. Someday though, but I'll keep it short. That's kind of my approach to commanders, though. Over time, you build them up. They do get pretty substantial bonuses, right? You really notice when you have the wrong commander in the fight. So definitely a good thing to invest in and devote some time to leveling. But again, I don't see the need to keep a ton around, so I'll probably go through now, clean up the rest of these, and hope I get something a little more helpful for my Twilight runs. But I think we'll call it here for now. So thank you all for watching. Take care.